إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. In this lecture then, insha'Allah ta'ala, we're going to do some reading from the book of Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, the book that is famously known as Al-Jawab al-Kafi, but otherwise famously known as, anybody? Straight into the thick of it, straight into the questions, straight into everybody's attention. Al-Jawab al-Kafi of Ibn al-Qayyim, sometimes it is known as with another title. So what is the other title, the popular title of this book sometimes? Ad-Da' wad-Dawa, and it is the book, I think, which is being published in English soon as well. So in this book there is a chapter, or there is a considerable amount of detail over the topic of sins and the impact of sins upon a person, the impact of sins upon the society, the impact of sins upon the hearts. And so that is the section we want to have a look at, to examine what these impacts are, to realize the severity of them, and as a consequence understand the importance of staying away from them in order to rectify society. Because if sins corrupt society, then what is the means to the rectification of society? The opposite of sins, to abandon sins and to be upon obedience and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn al-Qayyim, he says, وَلِلْمَعَاصِي مِنَ الْآثَارِ الْقَبِيحَةِ الْمَذْمُومَةِ وَالْمُضِرَّةِ بِالْقَلْبِ وَالْبَدْنِ في الدنيا والآخرة ما لا يعلمه إلا الله. That sinning has impacts or consequences, evil and dispraiseworthy and harmful. Evil, dispraiseworthy and harmful impacts and consequences upon the heart and upon the body in this world and in the afterlife, to a level that nobody except Allah knows. Ibn al-Qayyim is highlighting the severity of sins, the severity of their consequences and their impact upon the heart and the body of a person, those consequences that are evil, those consequences that are dispraiseworthy, degraded, those consequences that are harmful upon the heart of a person and the body of a person. فَمِنْهَا, so from amongst the types of evil consequences of sinning, minha, firstly, hirmanul ilm, deprivation from knowledge, that you be deprived from knowledge as a consequence and an impact of sinning. It deprives a person of knowledge. فَإِنَّ الْعِلْمَ نُورٌ يَقْذِفُهُ اللَّهُ فِي الْقَلْبِ For indeed knowledge is light that Allah casts into the heart. وَالْمَعْصِيَةُ تُطْفِئُ ذَلِكَ النُّورِ. But sins, they extinguish that light. Knowledge is a light that Allah casts into the heart of a person. But sinning, the act of sinning, sins, they extinguish that light. And so Ibn al-Qayyim is giving that example to highlight one of the evil impacts of sins, that they are a means or a cause of deprivation from knowledge. ولما جلس الإمام الشافعي بين يدي مالك وقرأ عليه أعجبه ما رأى من وفور فطنته وتوقد ذكائه وكمال فهمه، فقال: إني أرى الله قد ألقى على قلبك نورا فلا تطفئه بظلمة المعصية. It's mentioned that when Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i sat before Al-Imam Malik and he read upon him, that Al-Imam Malik was impressed and pleased by that which he saw from the sharpness and the ability and the smartness and understanding of Al-Imam Shafi'i. So he said to him, indeed I see that Allah has cast a light into your heart. This knowledge and understanding and ability and comprehension, I see that Allah has cast a light into your heart. So do not extinguish it with sinning. Do not extinguish it with sinning. And then they have that famous line of poetry which is attributed to Al-Imam Shafi'i, attributed to him, where it mentions شكوت إلى وكيع سوء حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي وقال اعلم بأن العلم فضل وفضل الله لا يؤتاه عاصي. Where he mentions that I was complaining to Waki' regarding the weakness of my memorization, my ability. So he guided me to, he directed me to abandoning sinning. And he said, no, that knowledge is a virtue, and the virtue of Allah is not given to a sinner. Knowledge is a virtue, and this virtue from Allah is not given to a sinner. Here, in the explanation of that section, Shaykh Al-Fawzan comments on it. So when Ibn al-Qayyim said, فَمِنْهَا حِرْمَانُ الْعِلْمِ, from the impacts of sinning is the deprivation of knowledge, being deprived of knowledge. Shaykh Al-Fawzan said, بِسَبَبِ الْمَعَاصِي يُحْرَمُ صَاحِبُهَا مِنَ الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. Due to sinning, the person is deprived of beneficial knowledge. لأن العلم نور وهذا النور إنما يحصل أو يحصل لأهل الإيمان وأهل الطاعة. That this knowledge is light, and that light is only obtained by the people of Iman and the people of obedience. Those who are upon Iman and obedience, they obtain, they achieve this light. But as for Ahlul Ma'asi, the sinners, then they do not obtain this light. وَإِن تَعَلَّمُوا بِأَلْسِنَتِهِمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ